Hi everyone, welcome to Follow Your Heart here on the Natural Parent Magazine. I'm Cullen. Today I am talking about nursing strikes. So what is a nursing strike? Well, it's when your baby suddenly isn't interested in feeding. So the breastfeeding relationship is going along well, and then suddenly baby has decided something's wrong here, I don't want to feed. This is not an indication of weaning. Natural weaning happens gradually. So no matter the age of your baby, for sure before the age of 12 months, babies don't just naturally wean. That happens closer to 2 years, 3 years. It's different for all children. But if you've got a child who suddenly refuses to nurse or breastfeed, here are some things that might be causing it and some suggestions for getting through it. They typically last just a couple of days, maybe up to a week. Obviously, if it goes on longer than that, you might be starting to consider that your breastfeeding relationship will come to an end. And so just understanding, first of all, that it is emotional and stressful when your baby is not feeding, and especially so if they're not also consuming, regular solids or water and things like that. So if your baby's 100% reliant on breastfeeding, or even if they're not, just of course the number one thing is to make sure that your baby is staying hydrated and getting enough calories. So you need to consider for your situation what that entails, and if you need to feed with a syringe or a dropper of some kind, cup feed, sippy cups, whatever it is, offering other foods and liquids to your baby that are appropriate for the age of your baby. The next is to protect your supply. So you're going to need to hand express or pump for, the same number of times that your baby would feed, just to keep up your supply to where it is at the moment. So make sure that you implement some sort of expressing or pumping. And so next we can try to figure out what the cause was. So your baby might be teething or sick, there might be an ear infection. So certainly decipher if there is a physical problem going on for your baby. A lot of times it's when baby bites down and mom has a really strong reaction, and then baby's afraid or worried about breastfeeding. So that's another common one. And then there's this time of year. We're going into summer here in the southern hemisphere, but even those of you that aren't, it just is a busy time of year. So look at how much stress is going on in your family, if there's changes in your schedule, if you're just really busy and not giving your child the time that you normally do, or perhaps you've just started back at work, or there's other changes in the family that have gone on. Another thing to consider is, could you be ovulating? That can impact your supply for a moment, or even change the taste. Is something that you're consuming different that could have changed the taste? Are you wearing a new perfume? Something like that going on that's causing your baby to respond as they are. And the other could be pregnancy. So anything that's affected or impacted the taste of your milk or the flow or your supply could be impacting your baby. So just some tips, and reach out for help if this is something you're experiencing now or do in the future. But here are some just kind of general tips. One is to take the pressure off the feeding, and I know that's easier said than done. Find some other ways to get fluids and nutrition into your baby that are as gentle as possible. And remember that generally the more we keep the pressure off, the more quickly baby returns to their usual nursing or breastfeeding routine. Okay, so just keeping baby hydrated and fed. If you get worried, obviously seek help very quickly. Next, lots and lots of skin to skin. So getting in the bath, laying in bed with your top off, breastfeeding, positions can be changed. Just all of those things that might give you closeness without pressure though. So we want to really keep the pressure off and just enjoy lots and lots of time with our baby in a relaxed manner. So you can try those different breastfeeding positions or try movement. Some babies you'll find want to walk around while you're feeding. You might carry them in a sling or a carrier, which will give you, you know, that closeness, but then just maybe offering the feeds there. And you'll also maybe want to try just feeding when they're just waking up or just falling off to sleep, or even when they are asleep, because we really kind of go into that more primitive part of our brain during those sleep times, and a lot of babies do feed overnight. And yeah, so just let me know what has worked for you. Let others know what has worked for you. And really, sometimes we never do know what caused it. Sometimes it's easy to pinpoint because it was an illness, or, you know, like I said, you yelled at baby when they bit you or something like that. But sometimes we never really figure out what it was. If you need some help, reach out and get it. But I would love to know what has worked for you. Share in the comments so that our viewers can hear what's worked for you, how you got through it, and how you dealt with the stress, because it is a stressful time when your baby has a nursing strike. So thank you so much, and I will see you on Friday for my live Q&A, and we can talk more about your breastfeeding questions and nursing strikes if you have more questions about them. Bye, everybody.